All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. Ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're doing well. Let's get going. And just to start out this stream, reminder, this is not financial advice. The information on this channel is provided for education and informational purposes only without any express or implied word of any kind, including warranties of accuracy, completeness, or fitness for any particular purpose. Please feel free to pause the stream, read through this. Good stuff. Hey, good morning, everybody. If you can hear me okay, just throw a 1 up there. That way I know everything is working well and you can see the screen. And I will get started as soon as I know that everyone is able to hear and see me. So that way we're not doing something crazy and I'm just talking for... Okay, good stuff. All right, I always like to start out with this in the mornings because it's always it's a good reminder. It's a good review and it's a good... I'm not going to go crazy, in depth into this. But just reviewing the templates that we're looking for on the day. And if you haven't answered this poll, I've seen quite a few answers now. Let's see, we got 14 votes. 57% say false. 43% say true. First red or first green day is always going to be a 3-star opportunity. I'll talk about that here in a second and why. But I'd love to see your opinions as well. So these are the different templates that I'm looking for. It's going to be either first red, first green day. They're fancy names for certain things. You have 3 days of breakouts, overextended markets. It's just certain sort of setups that or could be setting up based on these 3-day templates. And of course, I have learned about 3-day templates from Stacey Burke, but a whole bunch of different people. Nothing. He always says, there's nothing new under the sun, and that's certainly true considering everybody from, the early 1900s until now have been saying things like the market moves in threes, and then, all these different things. Dalton with the opening range breakouts and trades and things like that. Lots of supporting factors to why these templates work extremely well is what I'm really trying to get at. But let's just take a look and see what the different types of templates could be. So breakout trend trades. This is going to be those day 1, day 2 sort of trend trades, right? We're breaking out to one side or the other. And in reality, you could even have, a day 3 that is broken out on the previous day. And then might be thinking, well, that's 3 days of breakouts. But then it sets up for a trend trade either to the upside or to the downside. Because at the end of the day, those signals are only going to be effective if it sets up appropriately for that trade. So breakout trend trades either to the upside or to the downside. This is previous day's high and low. Then you get a breakout day 1, 2, 3, 4, doesn't matter. And then you get 3 levels of drop. You always project this level across and you get a low of day or a high of day opportunity back towards the high or back towards the low. Okay, the 3-day rectangles, looking at the different types. We got the peak formation high, the peak formation low, consolidation in the middle sort of templates, and getting a explosive move either to the upside or to the downside on day 3 or sometimes day 4. Sometimes it kind of looks like a 4-day rectangle. Same exact template here. It's just built over the course of multiple days. You've got peak formation high, peak formation low, consolidation in the middle, and again, going for that vertical move on day 3 or day 4. Really depending on, it could be the news schedule or something like that. For example, this week we have a pretty big news announcement on the calendar. We've got non-farm payrolls on Friday. This entire week is going to be setting up for that. So those are things that you have to think about. First red and first green day, a breakout day, or just in general, not even necessarily a breakout day, but a large range pumping day. A day that opens, attempts to trade higher, and then closes below the opening price for that day. And then on the following day, looking for a reversal back towards the low on day 3 or day 4. I put day 4 on here because sometimes day 3, in this case, I always like to use A, B, C. A plus B equals C. So on C, that's the day that you're typically looking to take the trade. Sometimes it doesn't follow through and it actually maybe just like pumps back up and it's like a pause day. And then on day 4 is the day, we'll call it D. It could be the day that you're now looking to take that trade. And this, of course, goes in either direction. You could have a first green day doing all the exact same things. Good morning, Ikla. So next template, we're looking at 3 days of breakouts. Now, of course, like I said, for the 3-day rectangles and all these other things and the breakout trades, day 3, really day 2 is the signal because on day 3, they could trigger the previous day's high or the previous day's low, structural breaks, and then we get a setup for that 3rd day of breakouts or 3rd day of longs or shorts being triggered into the market for a reversal. Love that setup. There's a couple of things that I like to see prior to taking that trade. Number one, Front side of the move, it's nice to see it broken. It doesn't have to be necessarily. For example, we could have a blow-off move that puts us really far away from the front side of that move being broken, so I can still get my trade back down to, it's just a trend line. However, it's still kind of that thought process. They blow off into a climax, and then the reversal, you can still get really good setups like that. But however, I would prefer to see the front side of the move broken first. Number 2, this is the one that I really have no exception. I really want to see a structural break. For example, they make a higher high and then they make a lower low back down on the inside, or they make a lower low and then they make a higher high back up on the inside. That way it can set me up for a squeeze. That's my setup, if we'll call it that. This is the signal, but this is what I actually look for to call it a setup: long squeeze, short squeeze, and then I can enter based off of that using my entry criteria. Inside bars, I look for 2 different variations. Number 1, I'm going to look for the reversal variation. We have a range, then we have an inside bar, and then on the third day, we get the stair step into the high or stair step into the low. I love when I see stair stepping price action into a level. Makes me feel really good, because especially if they trigger that at a certain time of day, you're looking for a pretty good trade. Or you could be looking for range expansion opportunities based off that inside bar. If you go look at a daily chart, you're going to notice in a trend, there's a lot of inside bars sometimes where there's a breakout day and then an inside bar, kind of like a pause day. And then on the following day, or maybe even the day after, you're getting kind of this big rally. That's kind of the template that we're looking for, just down on a lower time frame. You can see how I've kind of drawn this, where we got an up move, and then you get a day's range and an inside bar. You can have a day that breaks out, pulls back, and continues to expand the range, or sometimes it'll be like in Asia. They spike the high, they pull back, and then coming into New York is the range expansion for the vertical move back up towards the upside or the downside, depending on direction. I also have playbook opportunities for traps. So sometimes you'll get a first red or a first green day, and it doesn't quite eventuate, and it actually ends up turning into a trap in a down moving or an up moving market. For example, you've all seen huge breakout weeks where we've been breaking out to the upside or the downside, and then you get like a first red day, and we're very early, maybe in a new trend or something like that. So you could have a breakout day, a large pumping day, a day that turns into a first red, and you're looking for, hey, we're looking for that reversal tomorrow. But then what it actually is an opening range breakout, or just in breakout in general in a strong move. And the way that I look for these is closing price, either from the day prior or maybe even 2 days ago, to identify trap volume and to get my trade. I only take these trap trades from closing price. That's the only level that I'm willing to take it from. That's what I have in my playbook, and that's what I look for. I look for a squeeze coming off of closing price, either to the downside or to the upside, and that's worked out pretty well for me. Holy cow, I said a lot of words very quickly. Ladies and gentlemen, how are you all doing? All right, so I said that we would be looking at the first red, first green day. Why is it not, or why is it maybe only a 3-star opportunity? So with my trade management and with my the playbook and in general my trading plan, I determine a 3-star, 5-star, or 1-star setup. I have a list of trades that I'm willing to take as a 5-star or as a 3-star or as a 1-star. However, if I have a 5-star setup and I say, hey, this is one of those setups that is supposed to be 5-star, but the chart, my first take profit or my first level where I'm willing to get out of the trade is maybe only 1 to 2 or 1 to 3, or maybe it's only 50 pips away or something like that. I have to downgrade that setup to something lower, either a 1-star or a 3-star, because the chart is telling me that this isn't really a big trade that has a lot of potential compared to like 3 weeks of breakouts, 3 days of breakouts, ending in 3 sessions of breakout, and I get a reversal in the New York session. And I'm looking at 150, 200 pips back to the previous day's high or something like that. That is a good 5-star setup to me, and I'm willing to put more size on that because the chart is showing me that it's willing to, go a bit further. So that's how I grade my setups, is risk to reward and pips, distance, and of course probability. And if it's, maybe it's a 3-star opportunity, very high probability. And I look at the chart and I say, wow, that level is 300 pips away. And there's a good chance of us getting there. Maybe I can upgrade this setup to a 5-star. But, you know, I'm not just going willy-nilly with the size and stuff. So this is what we're looking for today in the stream. I've talked about it for about 12 minutes now. I see that 61% of you have said false, and in my opinion, that is correct. So good stuff. Let's go and take a look at what we've got going on with the NASDAQ. We're going to start here, and I'm going to be looking for those templates that we just looked at, as always. If you are new here, or even if you're not and you're enjoying this content and you enjoy seeing these streams, please like the stream because it does help quite a bit. And I've got some pretty cool giveaway stuff that we're going to start doing here. I think it's going to be pretty good for the videos and things like that, and just for everybody in general. Every single month, I'm going to, you know, put out my weekly videos, and at the end of the month, I'm going to let everybody vote on which one they like the most, and whichever video gets the most votes, I'm going to go to the comments section of that video and pull some winners to be in the webinar or the boot camp or both. So it should be pretty good. Hopefully that's a good idea. Let me know what you think. Anyways, going forward, looking for those setups. So yesterday, we had an inside day, or not an inside day, excuse me. We had the opening range on Monday, a very large gap down. This was the fear of tariffs or whatever. Don't care about that. I just care about how the day closed. You know, we've got opening range for the week. Then the next day, we have breakout day one to the upside. Okay, so now thinking about the templates that we just looked at, what is the 3 things that markets do? Trend, reverse, trading range. That's all we got. So I can mark this off, project that level across, breakout day one. All right, breakout day one, possibly maybe even a first green day. You know, we've had a large dumping day over here, and now we get breakout day one. So after a breakout day one, good practice to do is measure down 3 levels of drop. You can use a 100 pip box. You can use the tool that I'm using here. 3 levels of 50 would put us at 150. 3 levels of 100 would put us at 300. So I'm going to do, yeah, that's pretty far. All right, so let's do down, I'll go down 150, see how far away that is. We might be this is a little extended, I think. Okay, we've pulled back quite a bit. So now on the day, what am I going to do? I'm going to, for example, if I thought that I had a setup, you know, in the direction of the trend, do I think that this is going to go back to the high? You know, I really have no idea. But what I can do is mark off my structure for the day. We've been making lower lows and lower highs all day long. And then we've made a higher high now. And it's 8:15. So do I know that this is going to go back to the high? No. Do I think it's going to go back to the high? I have no idea. All I can do is mark off my high and my low going into the session. And now that the session has began, and this being American index, I'm going to be watching the 9:30 time to see, you know, how this kind of sets up. Now, this could just keep making lower lows and lower highs. The fact that we've made higher highs and then lower lows, maybe we're pumping back up for high of week reversal going back down. But this looks pretty good. I really like how clean this is. The chart itself is very clean. News-wise, what do we got? 10 o'clock. We've had a lot of 10 o'clock news this week so far. And again, just a reminder, this is non-farm week. So, you know, take that information. Everything this week is going to be setting up for non-farm. Yeah, breakout day one. I'm looking for higher highs and higher lows, or the breakout to fail and go back to the other side of the range. I think I said that a couple times now, so excuse me for continuously saying that, but that's it. That's all I can do with breakout day one. It's either going to be a trend trade or a reversal trade, or do nothing day, and it's day 3, so we'll see. Does anybody have anything on this that they would like to ask? Questions, comments, or concerns? Everyone's very quiet this morning. It's all right, though. We'll go on. US 30. Okay, Monday, opening range of the week. And then yesterday was an inside day. So I'm going to get that labeled off. Oh, no. Okay, so inside bar or an inside day, they have not triggered previous day's high or previous day's low. And also, this was a fairly narrow range day. This is where the day opened. This is where the day closed. The close was pretty much right at the open. Hello, Ed. Good to see you. All right, so today, we have not triggered previous day's high. We have not triggered previous day's low, so we're on the inside of the inside. All right. So kind of what I was showing you all at the beginning of this, you know, if Asia, for example, maybe went up and spiked the high and then started pulling back, and then like New York opens up and I get a short squeeze setup off the low of the day, or if we maybe had broken out and done some kind of like pullback maneuver, higher high, higher low, short squeeze setup, to do a range expansion of this inside day. Those are the kind of the setups that I'm looking for based off an inside bar. Number two, if we had stair-stepped into a level, for example, you know, we've got the peak formation low down here. If maybe we had on a maybe 5 or 15 or hour or whatever, you know, we kind of got a little stair step here. If we would have stair-stepped the rest of the way, we could say, hey, this is maybe peak 1, and maybe we get peak 2, and then they poke up, New York session, peak 3, break down. I could say, okay, well, they just trapped and triggered everybody in at the high of the day and the high of the week. Inside bar traders are now trapped, and they just put their stops down at the other end of a range. That's the kind of reversal setup that I would have been looking for or hoping for. And that being said, very confident in what I am looking for and what I want to see. Neither of those things is happening right now. So, what does that mean for me? I'm going to move on. Hey, good morning, Cam. Or, holy cow, I need to, I'm reading the chat box and say good morning to myself. Good morning to you, RD. Tony, morning. NASDAQ level 2 from peak. Oh, I think you're talking about from up here, Shaky. I was actually looking at this morning. So we've got a consolidation up top. And you can kind of see the stair step down. 1 and 2. And I'm taking this as possibly maybe 3. Now we have a higher high as well, which I really like to see. So if we trade back down into the low of the day, this is going to be my level. You know, especially around 9:30 or something like that. And then we've got the news, maybe 10 o'clock reversal back towards the high. You know, it's hard to speculate. It's still early in the morning and we've got multiple hours. But that's kind of the idea that I would be going into the session with, or a thesis that I'd be going into the session with. If they just hold it up here and up high for a couple of hours, do I really want to go long off of that? Probably not, because they've been attempting to go higher multiple times. There's a high probability of a stop hunt back to the low. That's kind of the mentality that I roll with. Are they working the high or are they working the low? That's what I go into it with. Okay, so I've already said I'm just gonna kind of move on from US 30. Does anybody have any questions, comments, or concerns about US 30? Also thinking about the 3-day cycle, this is pretty cut and dry, pretty clear. Additionally, we kind of got this peak formation high, Friday closing range, Monday peak formation low, opening range, pulled back up on the inside. So this would have been a day 1 of the cycle, repeat day 1 of the cycle. So peak formation high, peak formation low, which is one of those things that I highlighted, I think, in the most recent 3-day cycle video that I did. And here's the slideshow from that. You know, I got all the different variations. This is one of them. This is kind of one of those, hey, if I got a 3-day cycle that peaks high, peaks low, I ignore it. I focus on this 3-day templates and focusing on what the template is doing. NASDAQ is still inside of last week's high and low. Let me go back and check that. Yes, it is. Yep. So that's another thing to focus on as well. Ross, I'm glad you pointed that out, so thank you. You know, if we have not triggered a previous day's high or previous day's low, we're still on the inside. So maybe a lower probability market. I could still focus on the week's template. I just have to keep in mind, of course, that We have not triggered those levels. So not all time frames are involved. Maybe there's a little bit lower volume. And it's always better to trade from the outside, right? So once we trigger those levels, looking at breakouts, pullbacks, trends, breakouts, failures to break out higher or lower, and then back to the other side of the range we go. All right, oil. Oil has been providing some phenomenal trades, actually. 3 peaks, reversal setup on Monday, opening range of the week. Peak formation high. Holy cow. Here we go again. Peak formation high, day 1 of the cycle. Tuesday, peak formation low, day 1 of the cycle. I don't focus on day 1 of the cycle anymore because that was one of those templates, either 3-day cycle or weekly templates in general, that we just looked at for the 2 or 3-day rectangle or 3 or 4-day rectangle. Okay, so this peak formation above Friday's high, peak formation below Monday's low. Okay, this is also a bit of a first green. We got a large dumping day, first green day. Okay, I think I'm going to primarily focus on the peak high, peak low, and that's going to lead me to start looking over here on the day what is happening. And I'm on a 15-minute chart. Now, looking left, I'm going to claim this as a higher high on the inside. I don't like that this line's red. I've got too many red lines. It's weird. Okay, we got a break. Have we been going down for a long period of time? Holy cow, yeah, we have. All right, so we've been going down for quite some time. We've got a higher high. Does that mean we have to go back up? No. Have we triggered previous day's high? Yes. All right, and the triggering of the previous day's high could be a sign or a symptom of what? Does anybody know what in a down moving market, the triggering of a previous day's high, does anybody know what that could be a signal for? I'm really hoping at least one of you jumps up out of your chair and starts typing something. There we go. TR, good stuff. All right, I know it says pump. It's not supposed to. TR saying dump and a pump. Could be the break in structure signal, essentially, to go back up. So if we've broken the high, and now we've traded back into the low as a low retest, and now we have a first green day. That does not mean 100% that it's going to go up today by any means, because I've seen this exact thing and then this just rolls over and keeps going. But those are good signs and symptoms to be looking at and looking for. So what I've done here is I've projected my 3-day rectangle box across. And now I'm going to focus on the day. What has happened today that can help me figure out whether or not this is going to turn into an actual trade setup. Number 1. Looking at price action, we have a creeping trend. Peak 1, peak 2, peak 3. All right, whatever. Structure. We have a lower low. They have not pulled back outside of this bar and 2 bars. So this bar here and this bar here, we kind of got this little 3 peaks pattern. Maybe on a 5-minute chart. Maybe we can find a better... okay, so this looks a little bit better. All right. A little bit more clear. We have this low being formed. They broke this previous swing low. Solid bars. This is my objective way of viewing structure. We get 1 bar outside of this bar's high, a second bar outside of that high, making it significant, which confirms this is a swing low, and then a solid bar closing below that low, confirming this as my swing high. Okay. This isn't meant to be a holy cow, it's not a big thing. It is big to me because it's a part of my entry criteria. It's not meant to be the law necessarily. It's just good for me to see if this makes a higher high, I can start looking for my higher low to get put in place because that will turn into a setup for me. It's just more details into the setup. All right, so we've got a good creeping trend, 3 pushes down. I would need to see a higher high. Other side of this trade, maybe this is failing. Maybe this is a consolidation up high and we're breaking down and breaking out. What does this kind of look like to everybody? I'm going to reach up here and start touching tools, and hopefully one of you types it out faster than I can put it up here on the screen. All right, we got a little bit of a channel going, a bear channel. So we've got the continuation bars and then the bars themselves making lower lows and lower highs, possibly trapping longs and pulling lower. So I'm going to need them to, especially with this pattern, we got the channel, right? Peak formation high, peak formation low, and a consolidation channeling down in between. I have to be mighty careful that this doesn't go vertical to the downside in a down moving market and I get caught looking for the first green day, low of day setup. Okay, so I've just given you both sides of the trade, in my opinion, what could or should happen. First green day, I'm looking for a buy low. Low of day, low of session. I want to see a higher high first. They have not made a higher high just yet. Looking at the 5-minute chart, we're still making lower lows and lower highs. I want to see a higher high first. If I trade this trying to go long in a down moving market, making lower lows and lower highs, I'm a silly goose. Again, opinion, but that's how I feel about it. If they make a higher high first, my probability of success goes up significantly as long as I wait for the first mouse, higher low get puts in place. Then I get an engulfment. I take this back to the high of the day. We all cheer and throw up a thumbs up. You know, other side of this, peak formation high, peak formation low in a down moving market, and we've got the channel going down. All right. It does look like a squeeze, could be forming, could be building. And also, let's zoom out a little bit and double check. They updated my weekly separator indicator and turned it into a pile of garbage. It doesn't work anymore, unfortunately, unless I just don't know how to use it, which, you know, could just be user error. It is what it is. So it keeps putting it at midnight. I don't want it at midnight. I want it at the new day. So this is the beginning of the new week and last week's low. We've triggered previous week's low. So we got more money in the market on this one. Out of the 3 pairs that I've looked at thus far, I think that oil is definitely my best candidate. Okay, so first green day, if it is a trap, again, I can look at the closing price from yesterday or maybe even 2 days ago. Okay, this is a relevant level. I'm going to throw this up there. Just to make sure I've got all bases covered, because like I said, I think I'm going to probably be focusing in more on this one than the other indexes, or the indexes in general. Closing price, I'm going to put M. Closing price. Cool. I like this a lot. I like this a lot more than the others. All right. Any questions, comments, concerns on oil before I move on? Feeling good. Feeling caffeinated. Let's get going. If there are any questions, I'll come back. All right. Very first thing that I've noticed right off the bat, right off the rip. Number one, gold is at all-time highs. I didn't notice that just now. I saw that yesterday and days prior. You know, we've been going up. We've been going up for some time. Okay, this is a monthly chart, so this was a high. We traded back into the high, and this is kind of where we're at now. All right, weekly. How many weeks of breakouts do we have going up? This is going to be tough considering my weekly indicator is broken now. I'll just tell you, it's more than 3. I think we're at 3 or 4. Okay. Let's go down to a 15-minute time frame and take a look. Okay, so in an up-moving market, we've triggered the previous day's low on Monday. What I'm talking about was a really great display last week. I had a webinar class, and we were all observing this and watching this together, and we talked about it. prior to the session beginning, which was really cool to see it all play out. But this was a really good, beautiful 3-day template. In an up-moving market, they triggered the previous day's low and went back to the high of the week and broke down and made a lower low. And then on the day itself, they triggered previous day's low and pumped it back up in the most beautiful, beautiful 3 stair steps anybody has ever seen. 1, 2, 3 to the high, engulfment at timings, 7 a.m. And then we start to get that vertical move back down to where the pump began. That brings us to right meow. We've got 3 days of breakouts at least. We got a reset down here and a poking into previous day's low. This is where the pump maybe has began. Possibly. I don't know for sure. And this is also day 1 of longs being triggered into the market. They didn't close in breakouts. I'm going to put day 1 longs up here. It doesn't really matter. It really just matters that those people were triggered in. Otherwise, we're just arguing terms or phrases or definite whatever. This is day 2 breakouts now. And then today is now day 3 breakouts. This is my 5-star setup, possibly starting to form. Now we've got 3 to 4 weeks of breakouts. Okay. That's a big piece. 4 weeks of breakouts. It's day 3 of the week. It is Wednesday. And we have 3 days of breakouts in the market. I am going to look at the front side of a move to see, has it been broken? Maybe. Possibly. Probably, I would even say. Not looking bad, though. Okay, so front side of a move, possibly broken. Again, I don't really put a huge amount of weight with trend lines. However, it's a good visual. Benny, you beat me to it. You already knew, and I love to see you're thinking ahead. Good stuff. Benny said gold is making a lower low, which if you've been listening, which hopefully you have, if you've been sitting here with me, this is part of my entry criteria. Okay, so let's figure out structurally where we've been. We get a high here. We pull back in more than 2 bars. That means that this confirmed a swing high. And then they broke that high and continued to go higher until this point, in which case they pulled back in 2 bars, confirming a new swing high. But when they broke this high here, that's going to confirm this as a swing low right here. Okay, so we just made a lower low back down on the inside on gold. Okay, we also have a bit of a possible half Batman forming. I'm going to look for 3 pushes back to the high. Maybe we're going to create the nose of the half Batman. Maybe this is trap volume at the high of the week. Now, what setup am I referring to? Why is this 5-star to me? We got a pretty, somewhat, a fairly clean break over here. All right, we've got a higher low. We got base. We've got space. And we've got breakout traders in the market at previous day's high. Okay, I'm not marking off anything weird. We've just got breakout traders in profit at the previous day's high. That's going to be my first target. How far away is that? Far. Good. Okay, we also have 3 levels of rise coming outside of the previous day's high. 150 pips. Minimum. Maybe it's 300. I think it's 300 to the tick. Oh, almost to the tick. 3 levels of rise, 3 levels of 100 outside of previous day's high. Okay. What did that look like with the 100 pip box? Ooh, double zeros. Let's see. We got 50 here in double zeros. 100, 100, and then up to 50. So this would be the, 50. Oh, this is perfect. So that's pretty much perfectly 300 pips. If I move it to here and then to 50, should put us right at, we're just about 300. So from 50 to 50, 3 100 pip boxes. Perfect. All right, so gold has just entered the chat, if you will. Cool. Love to see that. Is everybody following along with what I'm talking about here and why this is going to turn into a candidate for me? All right, good. Now, I want to point out that gold has also been going absolutely parabolic towards the upside. So do I want to get in front of a moving train? No. But it is doing and meeting the criteria. Giddy up. I like it. It is meeting the criteria for the trade. So if I get a 3 push pattern back towards the high, maybe 930, maybe even earlier, since this is gold, and then a follow through continuation pattern, I'd be happy to take that. Okay, let's go to the Russell. Let's zoom out of the Russell. Let's look for a template. This is another. Okay. Shaky, yes. What signal are you looking for? I don't know what are you referring to gold? We got 3 days of breakouts. And now we have 3 sessions of breakout on week 3 and 4. And we have a lower low on the inside. Yep, and we got Ackman. I mentioned it earlier. Maybe he came in a little bit late. That's fine. Yeah, we got major red news at 10. Good. Maybe they're going to hold it up high until 10 o'clock and then it reverses. You know, 3rd-hour trade. Gold likes to do 3rd-hour trades. I'd feel really good about that. In fact, you know, I always do this. I'll pull up the playbook, and since this is between gold and oil, like those are my two favorites right now. You know, I've got a few variations that I look for on this setup or for this setup. A peak, and we trade back into the peak, and then we get the reversal. That's kind of one variation. The second variation is the stair-stepping 3 peaks. And then we also have kind of a 3-peak pattern in general, but they're just on the day 3 peaks in one kind of flat area. But all of these have in common base, space, okay, and then previous day's high is the target. In some cases, I'll take it to the closing price, and in some cases, even the previous day's low. Previous day's low is a lot less likely, so you know, it really depends. Cool. All right. Russell, breakout day 1 to the upside. We got a first green day, large dumping day. Okay. And then we get a first green. Kind of similar, peak high, peak low. We get breakout day 1 to the upside. Okay, so this isn't bad. All right, the Russell I think is probably better than other indexes. Have we triggered a previous week's level yet? Okay. Yeah, we have. Good. Andre was asking, sorry, I was looking over the little chat. Andre's asking, minor question, what program was that you had your playbook? It's Microsoft OneNote. I love that program. I recently discovered it a while back. Well, a while back now, but anyways, let's go. Keep going to here. So number 1, we've triggered previous week's low. Good. So we got the big boys, the big boy money in the market. We also have triggered previous day's high. Again, other time frame traders were in breakout to the upside. Good. Okay. So again, if I have a breakout day, I project that level across every single time. Number 2, you can measure down 3 levels from, well, normally from previous day's high, but in this case, they've extended the high. So I'm going to look at measuring from the extension. Okay, 100 pip box. We got peak formations made at 75. 3 levels of drop would put us at 25, 25, and 25. So maybe double zeros is the level. 3 levels of 50 would put us at 50, 50, and 50, which would put us at 25 in the next 100 pip box down. I think I'm going to go with the 3 levels of 25. Possibly. Okay, number 2. Or number 3, really. Asia makes a higher high. London pulls back. And then now we've made a higher high going into the New York session, and we've pulled back into the New York session. Now we've made a kind of a, really just kind of a lower high, I suppose, compared to this. But on the day itself, we were making lower lows and lower highs in the pullback, and then we've made the higher high. So I think I'm going to be watching this as well. I think that out of my 3 pairs, oil, gold, and if I wanted to choose an index, this would be my best choice. Do I think it's a great option? No. Do I think that there's a high probability that based off this pattern, maybe this is turning into a pump and a dump? Yes. Is it worth watching because it's kind of doing exactly what I would anticipate or look for after breakout day 1? Yes. Asia makes a higher high. London pulls back. I'm looking for New York to be the trade. 3 session setup, a 3-day setup. And that is in line with my playbook. So that would be good. All right. Okay, number 2. Well, I guess this is also number 3 for the stream. We got 15 minutes. If there's any pairs that you all would like me to look at, please start tossing them up there now, and I'm going to go through them. If there's anything, currencies, anything like that. But while you all are throwing those up there, I just wanted to tell you all and show you all that if you have been using this indicator, which I know a lot of you do, it got an update. I love this update because if you know me, I've said it before, I like thin lines on my chart. I don't like big, thick blobs. The gentleman that made this indicator went back and did that for me. He added in watermarks. You can add your watermarks to your charts and things like that, which is really just nice to have. And then, you know, for me being a weird fella, I really like the thin lines. Those are in here as well. I think those were pretty much the big highlighted pieces of the changes. He also added a notes section, which is pretty cool. I don't use that, but I know that a lot of people would probably benefit from using that. So it's good. And now I can only, you know, I only need to have 2 indicators up on my screen. Well, this one stopped working, so I don't know. Maybe only 1. See anything you like with gold? Hopefully it hasn't started just tanking. Well, yeah. Hopefully I haven't missed it being here on the stream, Rex. Dollar yen. And then I'm going to try and hurry up and I might have to go and get to trading. I'm going to hurry. All right, Mexican peso. KSO is an inside bar. Again, 3 stair steps to the high or breakout pullback trend. They made a higher high. They pulled back. They're back at the high and maybe 3 peaks. I would be probably okay with looking for a reversal on this as long as it doesn't break out, pull back, and continue to go vertical to the upside. So timing is going to play a huge factor in this. But I really like this 3 peaks pattern at the high of the day and the high of the, not the high of the week. It was Monday. Okay, Monday was in breakout to the downside. Yesterday was actually a first green day. Yesterday was a first green day. I'd be first green inside, but the trade may have happened in London, and now the pattern has kind of evolved. Let's see, dollar yen. Okay, inside day and a breakout to the downside. This is obviously a breakout, not a false break. Could turn into a false break over time, but we've got session 1 down. This is kind of the opposite of gold. We got 3 peaks and 3 sessions. This is like the mirror image of gold. Has this been going down for a long period of time? How many weeks of breakouts down? A lot? 1, 5, 25? A few? I think this has been going down for a little bit, right? Okay, same thing I'd be looking for on gold. I would want it to make a higher high. Otherwise, this is just in a trend, and it's breaking out to the downside. Market only does 3 things. However, we've got breakout traders in profit. Maybe we need to go stop them out, and I'd be using my playbook in order to determine if that's going to happen when I've got 3 peaks. We got base. We got space. UJ, 4th week of breakouts down. Now we have 3 sessions of breakout on day 3. Good. So yeah, just a mirror image of gold. Let's see. How far away is gold pulling? Have I missed it completely? Oh boy. Okay. No big deal. Hopefully one of you caught it at least. If me doing this stream has got one of you this trade, then hopefully, I'll be happy with that. Euro Australian dollar. Let's go take a look. Wow. Okay, Monday. Spike the low, spike the high, breakout to the downside. This is a reset. Breakout day 1. Second day of shorts triggered in the market. Today's 3rd day of shorts triggered into the market. Again, we're either going to be looking at a opening range breakout to the downside. So Asia or London makes a lower low, pulls back into the beginning of a session for the trend continuation. Or this is 3 days of breakouts. I would like to see the front side of the move broken. I would like to see a higher high put in place, which has not happened. Right now, this is looking like opening range breakout pullback. Good stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have enjoyed the stream, and hopefully, before I go, though, I would like to ask just real quick, can you get in on oil? Oh, no, what's oil doing? No, I still need to see a higher high. Do you all like the giveaway idea? I'm going to do videos every week like I've been doing, and then at the end of the month, we'll vote on which video was the best. And then whichever one wins, I'll give away like a week of webinar and the boot camp together, or maybe just one or the other. It doesn't matter. And all you have to do is basically, like the videos and be commenting on them, and then you can be entering in as part of the giveaway. Does everybody like that idea, or should I scratch that all together because it's nonsense? I think it'd be a good way to spark engagement with the channel, but also, get you all what you need. Worth a try? I think it's a pretty cool idea. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you all have been fantastic as always. I really appreciate you being here. Enjoy the engagement. Really the whole reason I do these, because it's fun to sit here and talk with you all and chat and stuff, and talk our way through these. Looking forward to it. I stream these every single week, Wednesdays and Fridays, 8 a.m. and a video every week. So if you're new here, lots of content every week. You have a great rest of your day. Make sure you join the Discord. It's free. Everyone over there is posting all their trades and everything. It's a great place to be. I think we're almost at 5,000 members, by the way, which is crazy. Great community. I'll see you all in the next one. You have a good one. Bye-bye.